Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 15 of the F1 Championship here on Race Department. We've just joined qualifying for the Russian Grand Prix. Although as I say that, one of us has just left. Just want to welcome our lovely guest commentator for this evening's event, Mr. Mikey Woolford.
Good evening, Mr. Mays. Thank you very much for having me in here. Obviously, it's a straight Michael for Michael swap tonight. Mr. Fleming cannot be available. But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in this race tonight at a track that I know very well. So I'll be interested to see how the whole Mitchell versus Sean battle reignites itself around the streets of Russia, and hopefully it'll be a good watch.
Yeah, we're just getting everybody warming up on their out laps. We've got Mitchell coming through the final sequence of corners.
Nice to see that JC was able to rejoin as well.
I'm not actually sure who's first. I think it has named is the first one to start. Actually, no, I think Guy's on the left. He is. Russia, a very weird circuit. It's basically just I don't even know what to call it. It's just some tarmac with some curbs bolted down to it.
It's very similar to Bahrain in its way that you drive around it. It's a majority of almost 90-degree corners, and the 90-degree corners themselves pose a problem outside of the car, being that you're likely to run wide, and the track limits here are notoriously strict, which, as we know, may cause a problem for our good friend Sean, who does have issues with his track limits. However, recently, especially in Singapore, was able to keep them very much in line. So maybe he'll be hoping for that to maintain. There's a little bit of consistency on that basis for today.
Here we've got Guy just coming out of the final corner now to set our first lap of qualifying. It's a 34.4. I'm not entirely sure where that stands up there. Harry goes second.
Harry, Renault running directly one-on-one, so obviously they've planned that ahead to go out with each other. And they've got it really early as well. You can, I believe, do 3 runs in this. And Mitchell, already.
Big lap. Shoot down to Sean. I think that was turn 4 or 5. I have no idea on corner names because, as I just mentioned, a lot of the corners just look exactly the same to me. So, I think he's just coming onto the second DRS straight, which actually isn't straight. It curves to the right and then curves to the left just at the end in the braking zone, which proves difficult in real life. But I think the drivers.
It's actually a little bit of a challenge on here as well, because it's off camber, like this corner that Sean's coming into now, and it's very easy to lock your brakes going into the corner at the end of the DRS straight, or that isn't straight, and that corner there. But Sean got through mostly okay, bit of a brake lock into the final sector, but we're about to see a very nice final corner, and he goes fast. It's now 33.1. So it's immediately becoming apparent that your 2 at the front, Sean and Mitchell, are in a class of their own once again, although I am expecting Mazais to appear at the top.
Yeah, we will see. Somebody, who's that? Let's just show up. It's Drew. No, it wasn't Drew.
Guy and Hasnain both just improved as well. Guy was over a second behind. He's just gone just under 8 tenths behind Sean.
Gatis goes P6 on a 34.2.
Yeah, and just looking at his Bankai bullets, just put on the set super softs.
Luke and James in the pits. James, of course, struggling to connect to the session, so hopefully he will get a stable enough connection to do the rest of the session. just going out the track now, as he's just exiting the pits. Everyone's done their first / second runs. They'll be coming into the pits for some tyres. As Drew is making his way back into the pits. It's the calm before the storm, so to speak, as we've got our second runs coming up.
Yeah, although I'm on board with Mazars currently, and he's driving very much like it's a fast lap. So is he maybe going for a 2-run stint? A long lap, you'd think that if he was to go for a 2-run stint, maybe he's timing himself a little bit risky for the final run. But he's certainly attacking.
That he is. I mean, his fuel bar is flashing quite a bit, so I'm not entirely sure if he's going to complete this lap or not.
It just seems strange to attack so much with time as it is. He's got plenty of time left. He's hit, just odd. If he doesn't improve on the second run, then these tyres are going to have taken a little bit of a hammering.
Yeah, it would have been
it's very
bit
easy
dangerous for him to have completed that lap, because he would have run out of fuel, and then that would have put his second run up in jeopardy.
That's what was confusing to me. The way he was driving, but also the risk involved, it would have made a lot more sense to just back off. And at least on my screen, a lot of front locking, and you don't want to be really wearing the front tyres too much here, especially if it's needlessly on an in-lap.
Luke just coming out the final corner to start his first lap. He will have no traffic because
no, Dark Shark's just come out of the pits.
Yeah, Andrea's just come out of the pits, so
hopefully he knows that Luke's behind him and he gets out of the way.
Very nice return 1 and 2.
Harry's out on an outlap as well, I've just noticed, going into the second sector, almost approaching the third, so he will be the first of our drivers to effectively start their final runs.
Leaving it until the very last second to do their second runs. So we may see some people tripping up over each other. I mean, we have seen...
Luke's backed off on his lap, so I can only presume he's made a bit of an error or cut a corner somewhere and invalidated it, and is just backing himself up to keep the fuel number in line so he can go again. Luckily he's on the super soft tyres, so he can, if he needs to, go again.
So Harry's just started his second lap. Hits the DRS through turn number 1. 203 miles an hour as he goes into turn 2. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on just what straight line speed people are running with him. Of course, that is pretty much your main place of overtaking, the second DRS straight. But
yeah, the middle and final sectors here are almost Monaco-esque in the fact that because the corner type is so similar, they're not real braking zones. I mean, a couple of the corners in the middle sector are 4th, sometimes 5th gear corners, and they're not overtaking places. You've got the gamble on, especially the second DRS straight here, a loss of rear traction coming onto it, something I know very, very much about, to really help you get into the draft and use that DRS into the braking zone at the end under the bridge. But as you rightly say, not a huge amount of overtaking places on this track, which is quite strange considering how wide it is.
Yep, and Harry's backing off of his lap, which means that he must have just validated it, so I'm going to look for someone else.
Yeah, Guy and Mitchell. Mitchell's just starting his lap. Guy just in front of him on going down to turn 1. I saw them overtaking each other on their out lap, which was a bit of a strange one. Obviously wanted to get track position.
Also on the lap, he's all locked up, and he gets through turns 1, 2, 2 and 3 nice and safely. I think Sean is Sean's backing up for his lap. So I'm going to focus on Guy for the time being, who cuts the corner, so he's obviously invalidated turn number 4. Back to Mitchell. Decent amount of rear grip using all of the curbs. turn in and on exit. This track allows you to do that. Onto the second DRS straight he comes, which I believe is the second time.
Thomas very wide onto the second straight there. I'm surprised if that hasn't stopped his lap, but he does seem to be on it, so maybe he got away with it.
Luke is our first man to be out of the qualifying session with a 35.2. Mitchell's just got to come across the line very shortly, second to last corner. Let's see, does he improve? Can he take pole position away from Sean? No, he cannot. No. As Drew also ends the session on a 34 flat. Hasnain goes up to third on a 33.6.
Very good lap from Hasnain. I can only assume that Thomas did cut that corner because he's pitted at the end of his lap.
Gatis up to P4 on 33.8. Let's see what Sean can do. Can Sean improve?
Harry didn't improve down to P9. Harry down in P9, 1.5 seconds off the pace. That's very surprising.
Yeah, that is, but he should be decent for the race. We hope.
Andrea coming across the line now. He improves, I think, but doesn't improve his position.
Wow, 32.8.
Just as a statement, this is a statement to everyone else. Smashes 32.8. Now we don't know whether Mitchell cut a corner on his lap. That's why he didn't improve, and whether he had the pace in the car. But certainly right now it seems that it's going to be a two-horse race between Sean and Mitchell again. Midfield looks a very tasty one though. We've got Valwad impressive again in P7. Just in front of Rockhammer, Harry and Thomas, all separated by less than a tenth of a second. So that's going to be a very tasty battle.
Our Armageddon section for the race then.
And don't forget here you've got Bankai Bullet, who will be able to start outside the top 10 and then choose his tyres. So was that why he went on a set of super softs? So he deliberately didn't go inside the top 10. No one will know other than him. But very impressive from Valwad, as Rockhammer actually improved to just 1.3 off the pace, comfortably in 7th position.
Yeah, that's the qualifying laps done. We're just waiting for the 1 minute timer to tick down. And,
I will say I have just witnessed the Sauber drive at full steam into the back of a Renault down the back straight, DNFing both cars from the session. Not quite sure what all that was about. Maybe Santino Ferrucci is in the driver's seat of that Sauber.
You say that as a Toro Rosso smashes into the back of Sean's Mercedes as he drives past the wreckage of the two cars.
And still going. Oh, I think he just wants to spin the Mercedes at this point.
You've got to love Codemaster from their weird AI as he smashes the rest of his front wing off. Nine seconds left before the race session starts up. Here we go. Unfortunately, a bit of a low turnout. With just 14 drivers on the grid.
But the midfield battle will probably be quite happy with that, because turn 1 and 2 here is a very dangerous place.
Yeah, just to show just how difficult this track is to master. I mean, look at it. Top 4 only covered by a second, and then yeah, the time is really, well, like you said, the times in the midfield fairly close. Entire field covered by 3 seconds, but that's because James DNF'd the session. Disconnected. So we may be down to 13 runners as this race gets underway shortly.
One of the things I'll be very interested to see in this race is whether Harry can improve. You've got to feel that there's more pace within that Renault. P9 is not where you'd expect him to be. I think he was actually further than that in the end. So perhaps more pace in that car than he showed. Be interesting to see if he can get through the field. You'd think he'd be near his teammate.
Well, you've got 22 seconds in which to find that out as they count down to the start of the race. We've got a 1 kilometer run from the pole position to turn number 2 this week. So that's going to be interesting to see if any carnage happens. Hopefully it doesn't. But
the little kink between 1 and 2 is a very different beast as well.
Here we go. Lights are on, and away we go in Russia. It's a good start there from Mitchell.
Great start by Hasney.
Side by side. 3 wide going through turn 1. We're going to make that 4 wide down into the turn 2. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? It's Mitchell, but he's run wide. Sean's going to try and battle back around the outside and does so and retakes the lead. Drew up into third place out of nowhere. Gatis dropping down the order after he also ran a little wide. Guys down to 7th, Harry down to 10th, as we've got 3 or 4 wide going on in the background. They're sorting themselves out.
Yeah, the 2 Renaults going at it with each other. Guy had a bad start, down with his teammate in P10. I actually said if Harry could get up with Guy, didn't expect it to be the other way round, and that the Guy would go back to Harry. As the 2 Haas, I think, prop up the back of the field, that they have mostly appeared to have got it through smoothly. As I say that, you've just picked up some damage.
Thomas running into the back of Guy, I think, just under braking. And Guy's attacking. What happened? Ferrari takes that position away with relative ease. He's back up to 7th position. We've got the 2 Toro Rossos side by side, under braking.
That's a Sauber, Murray. That's a Sauber.
Yes.
The second Toro Rosso is in P6.
And the 2 passes behind them.
Toro Rosso in P6, of course, of Frederick. Very good. Great start. Kept his position. Kept out of trouble. Doing a good job, although he will probably be rounded up pretty quickly by Guy. As I'm fairly certain Matthias is right on the back of Drew going into turn 1.
Nicely defended there by Drew, but Gatis, you have to remember, isn't going to give this up very easily. Goes to the outside. Can't do anything with that. And unfortunately, the times are already starting to stretch between the drivers, and we're only on lap 2. We've got some good action going on. So, Guy pulling on the inside. Woolford. Get done.
Everyone at this stage taking that tight sort of right-hander 90-degree in 4th gear. Later on in the race, when the fuel's off and better tyres, you'll see people doing that in 5th. Keeps the car more stable, I find. I don't know if it's car setup related, but Drew is better through the middle sector than Matthias. Matthias seems quicker through the tighter end of the track. Now, whether that's down to their steering input, I don't know, but as you can see here, Matthias catches back up to the back of the Red Bull through the end of the track, and Drew's able to pull away. Now, with DRS enabled, is he going to be able to hold that car away? As we see Thomas, unfortunately, a 5-second stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Coming to fix that right front wing that he broke off in earlier skirmishes. We've got Guy and Woolford having a decent scrap now through turn number 3.
As are Bohr and Andrea.
Oh, down the inside.
Down the inside. A bit of contact. Actually helped straighten Andrea back out then with his rear wheel.
Andrea being too happy with that. Luke takes advantage and sort of overtakes it.
I was going to say, perhaps a little bit of team orders there from Günther Steiner, getting one of his team members to spin a car in front in order to allow the second one through. If it was, very clever.
starting to sound like Lewis Hamilton with his conspiracies.
And guy on the back of Frederick now with DRS open. Frederick goes defensive. Is he going to be able to make it round the outside? Frederick defends and escorts him nicely off the track. Very nicely done. And all this does is it helps Rockhammer and Harry catch up. So we're going to have a nice little Armageddon section for you to talk over in the middle here, containing the two Renaults. Sean just smashes the fastest lap and has pulled out the best part of 8/10 of Mitchell that one lap. I can only presume that Mitchell had a really bad final sector. And he's broken the DRS zone, and I hate to say it for Mitchell's case, but I can't see him pulling that back. Not with the pace that Sean showed in qualifying.
You never know, especially with Sean and his you never count out a result turning against him. As Gatis back and drew again.
Yeah, Hasnane keeping a watching brief on that, just under 1.5 seconds behind, ready to take advantage of any incident that these two have.
It's a fairly long race this one. We're only on lap 4 of 27. Of course, pit stops in to come, although it should be an easy one stop.
Yeah, tyre wear here is very nice. As you say, comfortable one stop. Although Thomas, unfortunately, in P13, probably not going to be able to get to the end on whatever set of tyres is picked up. So he will have to do another stop. It'll be interesting to see what his pace is like in clear air and the clear track.
Picked up his soft tyre, so I'm pretty sure he's going to get to the end of the race. But it just depends on how easy he is on his tyres. And Mitchell slowly closing back up to Sean. Gap now almost under a second, so he's almost back in DRS. It's not over yet.
Not only is he catching back up, he's actually saving fuel as well by doing it, which is... Oh!
That just ends that.
Yeah, but Mitchell managing to save fuel while catching Sean. Sean has got nearly 4 laps worth of fuel. And choosing to use it in an odd place, but obviously it's working for him right now because he's in the lead of the race. But yeah, he's obviously feeling really confident about his car to be able to overfill it that much and still have the pace.
Battle here between Frederick and Guy. Guy must be getting a little frustrated now. He's been stuck on the back of him for quite a while. Never could do anything with it. Got to within 0.2 of a second of turn 2 and it sort of followed him round. Oh, as Frederick spins out and knocks Guy into the barriers. And now Guy's having
unfortunate for Guy.
do a 3-point turn in the middle of the track to get back. But he's got
Does he have any wing damage? Doesn't look like he does. Doesn't look like Guy's got any front wing damage. So although he's been disadvantaged quite heavily with that, at least what we're able to see now from Guy is he's in clear track. And will he be able to catch back up? He'll have Andrea.
Got a lot of front wing damage.
Frederick left the pit. Bad start for Toro Rosso then, continuing from their previous couple of seasons where their usage of front wings has been notoriously high. Yep, and Frederick hits. Guy now really attacking. I'm still watching Guy, and you can see that the way the rear of the car is acting, he's really pushing the car. Obviously, wheel spinning it to get it back into the correct position after the spin is going to overheat those tyres, and they do take an age to come back down from temperature on this game. Once you overheat them, it's very difficult while driving at full speed to keep them in an optimum range. But we'll monitor his progress.
Gatis having a look around the outside, hoping for a switch back.
He's going to make a move here.
He's got one. He's down the inside, and he's through.
Was he behind at the DRS zone? Yes, he was. So he'll have DRS to defend as well. Whether by mistake or by design, that's worked out brilliantly for for Gatis, and once again Hasnain still right near them.
Oh, and Drew almost crashes into the back of him. Really,
And Hasnain,
really late on the brakes.
Hasnain picks up a warning and a penalty. But you can see that Drew, especially pushing really hard. No one likes to lose positions.
Yeah, unfortunately he screwed himself right out of the DRS now.
Yeah, but he's put himself into DRS. Yeah, exactly. He might live to regret that, you know.
Harry's right behind Rockhammer, so that looks like that's going to be a scrap down to turn 2. Should be an easy pass since he's only 3/10 behind. With DRS zone being so long here.
They've got exactly the same amount of fuel as well, interestingly. To the decimal point.
I said it was going to be an easy pass. It was not.
Yeah, even with DRS. It shows that maybe Harry's running slightly higher aero. Oh, not enough, judging by that.
Run very wide. Still within
I didn't
the
see
DRS.
any oversteer moment then. It just looked like he'd forgotten to turn.
I didn't see any lock-ups either. This guy's giving himself a penalty. He's trying to get back.
Absolutely, he's pushing hard and pushing hard here. He's probably just cut, probably turn 4, I'd say. Don't know whether this is on track. As Toro Rosso's worst nightmare has come true, and both their drivers are separated by 0.3 of a second. And they've gone through enough wins already. They do not need to take one out on each other. We do not need a Hartley and Gasly moment going on here. But I suppose this is a little bit of brotherly pride. As of Alward out on the super softs, will he be let go? No.
Doesn't look like it. You would have thought that his team would be on the radio telling him to move over and not hold him on, but...
Sean's pulled out a 2.5 second lead now on Mitchell. So it does seem like Mitchell's used a bit of fuel catching him as well. But it does seem as though Sean has got the measure of him in this race, and the crucial point is that Sean doesn't yet have a penalty. So that gap is actually 5.4 seconds. Which is a commanding lead on lap 8 of any race.
There you go.
And Guy pits as well.
Oh dear.
So will Guy come out
just made
ahead?
A sort of move on Harry. Lost himself DRS.
Valward just ran very wide at the penultimate corner and got himself a penalty. You'll be watching that. And Harry will be out behind both Toro Rossos. And Guy, sorry, will be out behind both Toro Rossos. We're not too far behind. Will he want to take revenge for what happened earlier? I'll tell you one thing, Drew hasn't been shaken off by Mazaris. We thought that once Mazaris had gone through he'd be away, but Drew's kept him very honest. And actually looks the racier of the two. It's interesting to see if Drew gets tired of sitting at the back behind the Williams and goes for the undercut, which isn't massive here because of the rate of the tyres degradation. You don't get much benefit. And what he might be thinking of is he might actually lose out by not having the DRS compared to the undercut. So he might just sit behind Gatis until such time as Gatis pits, or he gets too bored. And as he nearly enters his gearbox. They've dropped Hasnain as well in this, so lots of interesting situations happening here. I can't really read this race, especially in the midfield. I would say that Sean, from this perspective, has this race won and Mitchell second, but I'm not sure where any of the other positions are going to go at this stage.
What's happening with my time? I'm pretty sure you just said that Gerard was within 0.2 of Harry, but that's definitely 2 seconds. Andreas still can't do anything about it. In the heart.
And Guy almost within DRS, going down to turn 2 of this Chalman. This group of cars is 26 seconds behind Andrew in 10th place, so they're 26 seconds off a point. But of course Andrea hasn't yet pitted.
It was good for the Toro Rosso guys to get Frederick ahead of his teammate, because he's now just 1.7, make that 1.9 seconds on his brother. He's got 25 seconds to make up to the impact on Andrea's race, but like you said, Andrea not stopped yet. As,
he's cutting that gap down pretty quickly.
The back of Thomas. Thomas trying to use himself as a shield to protect his brother at the moment as Harry pits from 7th.
The guy's certainly got straight line speed. Not like that other, the Renault. The guy's just got rounded up Thomas like he wasn't really even there.
Harry pits for the super soft tyre to probably the end of the race.
Yeah, that'll go to the
finally
end.
has a look. No, it does not have a look inside. Luke's just given himself a penalty, by the way.
That hasn't come up on my screen. Harry out of the pits in front of the Toro Rosso, so Harry will have a nice clean track now to pump in some clear laps. Who was Harry battling before the stop? Was it Rockhammer?
Yes, it was.
Rockhammer and Ball. So those separated by 1.6 seconds. We should see if Ball can now catch up to the back of Rockhammer. But I would say that with a good outlap, Harry should be able to keep that position. And he's really pushing as well. That car looking sliding. Not been a good start to the race for Renault, running 10th and 12th. Yes, they've both pitted, but they weren't exactly troubling the podium.
Speaking of the podium, Sean has just pit.
And Andrea, finally,
get together with Luke.
Andrea was on the outside. Luke went to defend, and Luke, I think on the off-camber section we spoke about in qualifying, locked both his front brakes. He just locked it, slid straight into the side of Andrea. Unfortunately, that's damaged Luke's front wing. Luckily for him, he's around a pit stop mark. But I think Luke is on the super softs, is he not? Yeah, so to pit now, he'd have to go onto the softs, and you don't really want to do that, although you'll soon see if he's losing a lot of time, as Sean pits. And unfortunately for Sean, right out behind the back of Ball. He should round him up pretty quickly though. Although hopefully for the race, they don't actually make contact with each other. Ball doing a good job now, running up in P3.
Gatis has been and Rockhammer also in the pits. Super soft, so we've only got 2 men left as Rockhammer just passed Harry. We've just got 2 people left to pit, that would be Mitchell.
That's close, that's very close. Harry's got the traction out of 4. Rockhammer defends. He's going to have the racing line and does it nicely. Harry knows what grip these tyres have got, whereas Rockhammer's going to be a little bit unsure. If he's going to make the move, he's got to do it now.
Just reclaimed his 3rd position. As Mitchell pits.
Harry being affected quite heavily by the dirty air there of the Ferrari. That has a good run onto the back straight. Now we saw earlier that he didn't have the straight line speed to pass the Ferrari.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. And yeah, he did absolutely nothing with that slipstream.
He did so little with the slipstream, by the way, that towards the end of the straight, Rockhammer actually went into lean fuel mix. Now Harry won't know that, but if there was an award for mental games, I think Rockhammer's just won that. Knowing your opponent's so slow. Yeah, but knowing your opponent is so slow on a straight line, you can go into lean fuel mix. Oh, that said, it's on now.
We've taken the lead. Gerard in 2nd position.
Yeah, it looks like even though he was held up behind Gerard, he's actually pulled out a gap on Mitchell. Pulled further away.
It's a tasty scrap between the Ferrari and the Renault. Renault just washing wide and they've made contact in turn number 4. No damage, and Rockhammer squeezing Harry right to the wall.
Rosberg and Hamilton, and they've locked up. borderline.
A bit rude.
Yeah, it's borderline that one, I'm afraid. But they're still side by side. Is he going to turn in? No, he actually gives way on this one. But cuts back, lovely cut back. But now he's on the outside. Is he going to turn in here? Yes.
They're rubbing each other.
How they've got out of that. But now you're going to have Rockhammer with his superior straight line speed with DRS. So we'll see if it works the other way around.
Meanwhile, in all of that, Mitchell's gained another second. And look at that, he just drove straight past Harry. Harry must literally have Monaco wing angle on him.
Yeah, that's strange. Now, whether he's a little bit concerned at how unstable his rear end is and he's overloaded the rear end of the car with wing, and usually that Sean time penalty would be important, but I fear that he's just got the edge today and he could probably end up with 2 more of them and still win this race.
Yeah, due to the fact that Mitchell already has a penalty. He's really not done anything for this race, unfortunately. As
Paul's
Harry
doing a really solid job.
Tries to get past Rockhammer. He's doing the dive. That was a bit aggressive. Rockhammer had to back out the corner.
Now we saw what happened here last time.
Harry's got the place.
Place that time. Now we're going to see if Harry can make use of that higher aero in the middle sector. He's got to pull out enough of a gap so that as soon as they get onto the back straight, Rockhammer doesn't just breeze right past him again. And all while this is happening, Harry's teammate in the background has reeled them in.
Yeah, we just had Drew move up to 5th place, although I think Andrea has not stopped yet. Harry's going to be disappointed that he's 14 seconds behind the next car. I'm surprised Rockhammer's not just driving straight past
Sean
him.
again.
Sean just is
Flexing his muscles at the start of the race.
Oh, contact! Rockhammer and Harry just not leaving each other alone. Down the inside, got Rockhammer into that corner. They're still side by side.
So if I was Guy here, I'd let them get on with it.
And here comes Guy. Mitchell,
and another penalty for Mitchell.
He's going to put himself in trouble with Gatis in a minute. He's getting penalties.
That's a very good point. He is. That's 6 seconds and he's 5.6 ahead. And that's 2 when we're only on lap 14, so he might end up with another 2. Especially if he lets the pressure get to him. Look at this. The Ferrari straight round the outside again of the Renault.
He's just going to shove
and this is like the same last lap.
No, he doesn't.
And here comes the second Renault.
Got Guy on his teammate.
And if these guys aren't careful, Frederick's going to join in on this soon. Just 1.8 behind.
And we're towards the end of the season-ish. We've only got 5 races left at the end, so I'm not really sure what the Renault team orders are like. As
Mitchell right now, yeah, stuck right behind Ball. This is not going to help him for 2 reasons. 1 for Sean, and 2 for Gatis behind him. The longer he's stuck behind Ball, remember those 6 seconds of penalties, he doesn't need to be losing time.
Harry's given himself a penalty trying to attack camera again.
Very impressed with Ball. Lap 15, running P2. Yes, he's got a pit. Oh, and by the look of that, those tyres are on their deathbed, I'd say.
Yep,
The more he does that, the more they wear out. Neither of them have DRS open, so whether they cross the DRS line absolutely dead level.
Mitchell now got 8 seconds deficit
Yeah.
on the track to catch up to as Guy.
That's actually disappointing. I thought it'd be a little bit closer than that.
Oh, and nearly loses it on the exit of the final corner and takes out his teammate almost.
Yeah, but look who's behind them, Frederick. And he'll have DRS. And he's very quick in a straight line, is that Toro Rosso.
Oh, he's blocked his teammate. Here comes Thomas. Sorry, Frederick. Can't quite do anything with it.
First rule of a team owner is do not take out your teammate. Although it's looking a little bit worrying for Cyril Abitbol right now, because you put your house on these two making contact of some sort. Unfortunately for Frederick, though, because the car in front of him, Harry, will have DRS, he doesn't really get a chance. He needs one of these two Renaults to separate. Oh! What on earth was that?
I missed that because I was watching Andrea and Hasnay.
I'm wondering if Harry has something wrong with the front of his car, because what he did in turn 4 earlier, he just done in turn 9, and just understeered clean off the road into the wall. Now it didn't DNF him. Personally, the speed he hit it, it probably should have. And now he goes. I'd be interested to see if there was any underlying issues there, because certainly that was not a normal thing for a car to do.
That kills off our Armageddon section, unfortunately. Time being.
It does, but can Frederick catch up to Guy? Now, Frederick pitted quite early, didn't he? So his tyres are probably looking a little bit worse for wear.
Yeah, Gerard's just come out the pit in a set of ultra soft tyres, as has Andrea.
And he's come out the pit in front of Rockhammer. That's how much that battle was losing those guys. He's come out in front of Rockhammer on a fresh set of ultras. Ball right now looks odds on to just keep P6. I can't imagine he's got enough in the tank to catch up to Hasnain or Drew, but really good effort from Borkinson. He started outside the 10, and Rockhammer has left for one reason or another while running P7. Not sure what that's all about.
I'm just watching Luke and Andrea slapping the hell out of each other through turn 3, with Andrea winning that one on his brand spanking new set of ultra soft tyres. And away he goes into the distance. Frederick's just gone up to 8th position, obviously, with Rockhammer leaving the session. Surely that must have been disconnect.
Yeah, very strange. I mean, just after Gerard come out of the pits, now I don't personally see it as that much of a mental blockage that when you see a car coming out of the pits, it makes you quit. But obviously, James had some issues with the connection as well, so possibly a disconnect. I'm not sure. Maybe those Russians are getting involved with the connection of this lorry.
We won't go there.
I shouldn't, because I'm dangerously close to them.
Yes, half your
Half of my town is in big trouble, you're right. Salisbury native. One thing I would say is that Mitchell has kind of negated Sean's massive charge right now. Sean does have a fuel of planters though, but they seem to be just sort of keeping each other constant. Matthias has broken away from Drew, albeit only got 2.2. And then you got Hasnain and Ball, who has caught up actually to Hasnain. He cut that gap down by 1.7 seconds. Although it's going to take a lot, I'd say, for him to catch. And obviously, as the great Murray Walker said, it's one thing catching a car, but it is another thing passing it. As we've seen here, passing can be quite difficult.
Especially if your name is Harry Green. But,
if you're driving a Renault in general, actually, they've not had the best of time here, did they?
But yeah, we've got 9 laps in this race remaining because Andrea gives himself a penalty. So, of course, we've got the differing tyre strategy. It will be good to see how close Gerard gets to Hasnain. 8.6 seconds now. Back. So,
yeah, that's cut down. It's 8.2 now to me. So that's cut down by almost 2 seconds this lap. And if he keeps that up, he will be right there. But the fact that Hasnain's dropped off of Drew a bit kind of indicates to me that's more of an error on Hasnain's part than pure pace. Just earlier I said
Disappoints
about
me that a lot of
Gatis and Drew, by the way. Drew's cut that gap down by half a second. It's now below 2 seconds. Has Sean once again, and the gap is now out to 9.4. So yeah, he's obviously just seen or heard that we've said that the gap has been the same for a bit and thought he's not having none of that, and it's just showing as what exactly he can do.
I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure that the administrative side of this is going to be not very happy.
Pretty poor. Pretty poor attendance today. And Boar. Sean won't like that. Boar sets himself the fastest lap of the race. The gap is down to 6.1 seconds. I was wrong. He can get to Hasnain.
He has got 8 laps remaining, so it is possible. The only thing is he gonna use up his tyres a bit too much towards the end of the race, and then just have nothing left when he finally does reach Hasnain? Gap now 5.9 seconds.
You'd think not. I mean, the tyre wear here is pretty good. You think that he would be able to go that amount of distance on those tyres. It's whether when he gets to Hasnain. I mean, Hasnain's tyres aren't going to be in great shape themselves. He put it fairly early on. But it seems like Hasnain's pushing. He's in fuel-rich mode, so he's obviously sensed the danger from Gerard behind him. And very shortly he'll see him at certain points of the track on his little mini-map. And that's always something that gets your attention as a driver when you see a car there now that wasn't there.
Oh, Gerard,
and unfortunately, I don't think Hasnain's got any, has he?
I could see that one coming from the time I saw him turn in. So I could just see the angle of which he turned in.
I'm flicking through, and Drew did have the gap down actually to the guys to 1.4. It's back at the 1.7, so I think he's made a mistake at turn 1. But that battle for the final podium spot's not over yet. And Drew does have himself some fuel, so potentially a sort of a late race push for him. It all seems to have mildly settled down.
Yeah. Well, now 10 seconds. Just want to say hello to all of the viewers that popped up. Because we just went from about 15 to 200. Thank you for joining us. This is lap 20 of 27. Sure, as per usual, is leading out in front by 10 seconds from Mitchell. Gatis in third with Prix closing him down in fourth. Got Hasnain in fifth with Gerard closing him down in sixth, but he's just given himself a penalty. 3 seconds. So even when he does get past him, he's going to have to pull out a 3-second gap. When he does so, Guy in seventh position, Frederick in eighth, Thomas in ninth. One of the wrong three, and then Dre up on the ultra soft tyres closing him down.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm pleasantly surprised that Thomas has managed to keep those tyres in what seemed like a pretty good nick for so long. As Drew now dangerously close to the DRS zone behind Gatis. Just as he goes around turn 3, it just creeps underneath it. Unfortunately for him, there's no DRS zone until about 7 turns time. But this race, he will be in it, and this will be our battle, and it's an important one for the final podium position.
Yeah, relishing this battle. Relentlessly now closing Gatis down corner by corner. Drew's last podium position was way back in Canada, and his last 2 place, so he really doesn't want a third, fourth.
No, he'll have a bit between his teeth. He was very aggressive in Singapore, if you remember. So, and Gatis will be aware of that, just what Drew will be prepared to do for a podium, but also vice versa. Drew should be aware of what Gatis will be prepared to do to keep a podium. And what they don't want to do is take each other out and give that podium to the winner of a Hasname versus Gerard lap.
I'm going to give a special shout out to someone who I've not seen for a while, Mr. Jordan Richardson, who's just popped up in the stream chat. Welcome to you. Good to see you back. Hopefully you decide one day to join us in the league. Drew looks down the inside of Gatis. Is he going to send
Late
it?
braking. Ooh. Gatis was very nice to him there. He actually missed, whether he deliberately missed his turn in or not, he gave him just enough room. So this battle is now on at the front of the field.
Yeah, we've also got Andrea with Thomas further down the field. Look at that.
Yeah,
That
Frederick's
should
not
be
been able
off.
to keep with Guy. Frederick's dropped off the back of Guy. I think probably a combination of not being as quick and also the tyres. But as you watch Gatis versus Drew, Luke, a little bit of a very, well, lonely race for him today. Trundling around in P11, 7.5 off of Andrea, but there's a couple of laps left yet, that can all still change.
DRS again on Gatis, but probably isn't going to send it from that far back. We have him going down into turn 2 again as Andrea finally gets past Thomas. The dad there move into turn number 5, I think it is. And he is now on his way on those ultra softs. I think Thomas is going to keep up.
Oh,
Drew
Drew
gives himself a penalty.
I was just about to say as well, I'm riding on board with Drew right now, and he's using the higher gears I was talking about earlier to keep himself off of the sort of throttle and stop the rear from spinning out, and in doing so he's actually put the front end in and cut a corner. So fix one problem, cause another.
Yeah, Hasname's just given himself a penalty, so that's put Gerard right back into contention. But I think his tyres have gone off.
Sean gets another one, but it's all elementary at this point unless he gets disqualified.
Yeah, that just brings the gap down to 11.7 seconds as it is on the screen. Of course, Mitchell did have 2 more penalties behind, but they're now equal on penalties. I'm not sure if Gatis has a penalty. I can't really see one pop up. But if not, that's put all the pressure on Drew. He's got 4 laps in which to not only pass Gatis, but then take out 3 seconds, which I don't think is going to happen, unfortunately, for him.
I think the one thing that will annoy Sean here today is the fact he's not got the fastest lap. And Guy gets himself a penalty.
Oh, and Drew nearly runs into the back of Gatis. Gatis just parking his car perfectly enough to stretch out the gap a bit more as they go through the last 2 corners. He's given himself a nice...
As I said earlier, Gatis is better through the final section.
Yeah, he's given himself a half-second buffer down the pit straight, so he can win DRS with Drew.
He won't get there. I think Gatis will be safe this lap. He doesn't want to make too many mistakes. He'll be on him.
I'm enjoying just how cerebral Gatis is being recently with some of the things that he's been doing. I mean, we saw just then backing off in the nice twisty bit to make Drew slow down a little bit and give himself a nice half second.
Well, he's probably well aware that that's the section he's faster in. So make the most of it there, give yourself enough of a buffer, because as we can see, Drew's right back on him as we get into the middle sector. Ball running wide there. I think he's probably near enough run out of his tyres now. He's not catching Hasname at the same rate as he was earlier. He's also almost out of fuel, so perhaps he's used all of his eggs and has got none left.
Yeah, that's the danger of doing stuff like that. Drew again having a look. Can't do anything with it, unfortunately.
Now Wilmer's Ice do the same thing. Yeah, Drew stays in 4th gear. does not want that engine braking to flick the rear round.
Yeah, he's learning from his mistakes. One thing that Drew has been doing this season is exactly that, learning from some of his previous mistakes. It's cost him in what is his last season of league racing.
He's closer though. Probably too far, unless he's going to lunge, and he does, and he makes contact.
That was a bit...
Now Will Mazars be able to keep back at him. Mazars is on the inside. Which means he'll have to position, go across and defend. Gatis should go across and defend, and doesn't, and that's the risk. Nice. Very nice from Drew. Gatis left the door far too open then. He had the track position, going around the left-hander. He should have just come across to the right and stopped that move from happening. And to take the words off of the advert on the side of the Williams, Drew was never more sure that that pass was going to take place.
I don't even know what to say for that.
Well, what you can say is you can say that Gerard is almost within DRS of Hasna.
Yep, he is now. We're also going to keep an eye on that gap between Drew and Gatis, because if Drew manages somehow to squeeze 3 seconds out of the next 2.5 laps, then he's going to keep that position. Gerard now in DRS of Hasnain. This is for 5th place. Just looking to see what Gerard's highest scoring is. It's 4th place from China.
I've got to say, he's probably within a good chance here. I don't know what his straight line speed is compared to the Force India.
We're about to find that
The
out.
Force India got out of the corner a bit better. Immediately defends, obviously, as a driver, not very confident with his straight.
Losing into DRS.
So that'll make Hasnain very happy. As a driver, once you know you're faster in a straight line, even when the guy behind has DRS, which is woefully underpowered on this game, you can almost take your mind off it because it's no longer a problem.
Yeah, both of these guys fighting for pride. Of course, Hasnain hasn't had a 5th place.
One thing I would say, without meaning to jump in, is that remember Drew had a 3-second penalty. He's already 2 seconds up the road from Gatis. So potentially, keeps this up, he might keep this position.
Oh,
And
Gerard's
there
just
goes
ruined
that.
it.
There goes that worry for that battle. I was wondering earlier if Andrea would catch up to Frederick. He's half the gap, but it's unfortunately still 3.2 seconds.
As we
So
are on
that-
the final lap of the race.
Yeah, I have to say, very disappointing how far away it was at the front. I did wonder, if you remember at the end of quali, whether Sean had more pace to burn. Turns out no. It just turns it's a straight no. Sean has had his number all day.
Gap's now up to 13.4 seconds. Last time I mentioned the gap, it was 11 seconds.
I'm just watching Bohr versus Hasnain take 2, as you're rightly saying. He gained 18 thousandths from the pit straight then. So progress, but obviously not enough to actually get him in 5th place.
Yeah, I don't think he's got the engine power left. Sean just coming to the last few corners now, gap up to 14 seconds. To this horrible little off-camber section. Got 2 more corners to go before he, as per usual, will probably flamboyantly throw it in the barriers. There you go.
There it is, as predicted. Yeah, nearly 14 seconds. That is a surprise. That is near as makes no difference. That half a second a lap difference that we were talking about. And Mitchell
does the same.
That was actually very impressive. Now I can't see that Drew will do that. I can see, however, he probably will attack this final sector like it doesn't exist.
Oh, he's if he gains 2 tenths in his final corner, he should manage to keep his place. 3rd place for Drew.
Oh my god!
How close is that?
He did by 28 thousandths of a second. That is insane.
Oh, and there goes Gerard flamboyantly putting it into the wall on the last corner. Here comes Guy.
I would almost bet that Guy will do the same.
Nope.
No, he's obviously so disappointed with his day, he just wants it to end. And Valward will keep Andrea behind him, but Valward got a 3-second penalty on the screen earlier. That might well cost him that 8th place.
No, I think Andrea... Oh no, it did cost him that 8th place.
It did indeed. Now obviously
Thomas.
Andrea wouldn't have known about that, so he'll be very happy when he comes across the line and sees that 9 turn to an 8. Double points finish. Double points finish for Toro Rosso, considering they're both right at the back at the end of lap 6.
Points for Andrea, we witnessed history. That is a good point, actually. This is his first point score of the season. So well done,
and very well
you.
deserved too. He did a very good job.
He's this season's version of Frederick.
Only without the crashing. He's just not been quite there. But today, when the chips were down, he kind of showed what he can do. He has shown spells of pace, but it's just him having that for a full race. And luckily for him, today that's meant P8.
And I think Drew, with his 3rd place finish, has just overtaken... He's just taken 4th in the championship, I think. Yes, he has. So
And the great thing about today's race is that Troy is yet to overtake me in the Drivers' Championship as well.
Yes.
Because he has not
He's gone from nearly overtaking you to being overtaken by Drew.
Yeah, double Dutch at the top.
Sean, Mitchell, Drew, Gatis, Hasnain, Gerard, Guy, Andrea, Frederick and Thomas are your point scorers. You're only 10... Well, Luke finished in 11th place as well, didn't he,
Yeah, Luke and Paul had very contrasting races today, and they were both started on the back row, and Luke stayed there. Paul put pressure on for, I think it was 6th place in the end, or 5th place. So contrasting races. People will be disappointed with that. Obviously, Sean will be very happy with that. He set a marker down for Mitchell to say, look, if you think you can catch me in the championship, this is what I can do. And it's now up to Mitchell to take up that challenge and show the next race that he can.
Yeah, it's Sean's first back-to-back race victory since Malaysia and Austria earlier on in the season. Pretty sure that brings the points gap to 97 points. So I'm pretty
good result for Drew as well. Good result for Red Bull, because with Sean winning but James not finishing, combination of 3rd and 2nd means a positive of 8 points for the Red Bull team in their constructors.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, if my maths is right, Sean may, depending on where Mitchell finishes in the next
he
round,
can mathematically win it next race.
He can win the championship in the next race.
Yep.
Which will be the earliest this championship has been won, I believe.
I think you're right.
So, yeah, do tune in for that.
The gap was 81 before today. And there's what, an 8-point swing, so that gives it 11. 91. So yeah, basically anything other than a Sean 1st or 2nd. And that's it, game over. And this will, amazingly, for Sean, a man of Sean's pace, will be the first time he's won this championship.
Indeed. It is that time, of course, where I have to do to you what I do to the other Michael, and ask you for your driver of the day.
Well, it's a tough one today, because of obviously the fact that we only had 14 drivers, 13 starters. Sean obviously comes to mind for his dominant performance, but I'm actually going to give it to Andrea for his first points of the season. He did a good job, passed people when he needed to, and I reckon he'll get back to the garage and think, I've done a really good job today. Obviously, poor as well, but I'm going to give it to Andrea.
For once, I'm going to give it to Drew. For his,
solid effort. He caught back up to Matthias.
Yeah.
He lost that position early on. We didn't think he'd get it back, but obviously he found something in the car second stint. Obviously, whether it liked the tyres a little bit better, or whether he just kept them better in check, saved himself some fuel, managed to get past Matthias, and then built that 3-second lead, which I didn't see him doing, must be said. I didn't foresee him building that quite so quickly, and he rewards himself with a podium. So yeah, good drive from Drew today. Very good drive. Obviously last season here kind of makes up for that when a dog ended his race.
Vindication.
Exactly. Vindication indeed. Daniel Ricciardo-esque.
So there we have it. That was your Russian Grand Prix. Next time out, which will be same time next week, is the Japanese Grand Prix from Suzuka, where, like we mentioned before, Sean may very well be in a position to win the championship. So do tune in for what could be his crowning glory event. I just want to say a big thank you to Mr. Mikey Woolford for joining us tonight, as the other
Not a problem, it's been a pleasure.
Is, out getting drunk somewhere.
He takes after me well. Usually that's why I'm unavailable.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been great fun. Good race to watch. Hopefully next week we have more people, and I might be here in some capacity, maybe in the pit lane.
Which we will be looking forward to. So, like I said, 8 o'clock UK time, Tuesday, next week will be the Japanese Grand Prix. So from myself and Mikey and everybody at Race Department, we'd like to thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you next week.
See you later.